Hey, hi everyone, I am Karan. Welcome to my channel Knowledge Boosters. From this video, we are going to start a complete series of C++ tutorial. So let's start with the first one. So let's see what is a class. A class is a user-defined data type. A class has two parts. First is data member and second is member function. So in C we have seen like integer x, integer y, those were declared as a part of main only and they do have scope until unless the main is in the picture. But for the case of class, those data members are just the variables that we used in C. So those data members are the variables of C, and these member functions are the functions. In other way, we can say that data members are the variable where data is actually stored, and these are the function via which we will be accessing these variables. For example, let's take an example of a bank app. In bank app, we do have features like we can, via Google Pay, we can send money to someone. As soon as we have received money from someone, we can see. These are the functions. For example, if we want to send a money to someone, we have to go to that person, we will enter the amount and we click on OK. As soon as we click on OK, there is a function which is called as deposit withdrawal function that will withdraw amount from my bank and will get it deposit the amount in someone else's bank. But these are function. Why these are function? Because if these are data member, we cannot directly access those values. For example, if I do have like 1000 as my balance in bank, I cannot directly go up there and change 1 lakh to 1000 to 1 lakh. So there is no direct access. That is the reason class comes up with the concept that we do have two features. One is called data member, second is called member function, where data member are the variable where data is actually going to store, and the member function are the functions via which we will be accessing the data members. So let's see the syntax for a class. So it's just like a class keyword, then name of the class, then these were the access specifiers. Here we will be mentioning our data member and member function, and then in public we will be mentioning data member and member function, and we will be closing the class with curly braces. So this is the basic syntax for a class. So as we have just seen, the class is comprises of two parts, data member, member function. Just these things, public and private, these are access specifiers. Now what is access specifier? For example, there are some things which are always private to you. Example, your personal properties. No one do have access to it, but there are something which are always public, like parks, temple. Anyone can go there, anyone can use it. So while creating a programming, while using this bottom to top approach that C++ follows, we must have this thing in our mind, which things we are going to make public, which things we are going to make private. Taking example of Google Pay, if rather than having this withdrawal and deposit function, we will directly give access to the user so that he can just directly change his balance, then we cannot have a very good optimal solution. Why? Because anyone can change any value of his account, and bank is not liable for paying that value to that person. That is the reason while creating a program, we always must have to consider which things we have to make private, which things we have to make public. So class is just like a user defined data types having two parts. In other form, we can also say that class is like a skeleton. For example, let's create a bank class. In a bank class, for taking example of a bank class, in this class, these are data members, these are the variables, and these are the functions. Now consider the scope of it. If we'll talk about like account number and balance, when at the time of creating of account, only the banker has the option to give you account number. We cannot change that account number by ourselves only. The balance that will be depositing, that would like 1000 or 2000 initially, but later on if we want to change it, we cannot directly change the balance variable. We should have some way via which we'll be changing those variables, and these are the methods via which we will be providing access to the user who will be using the application, so that he can change these variables via these data members, which are the member method. In short, we can also say that class is just a skeleton. Why skeleton? If we take example of your human body, all have two eyes, all have brain, all have hands, but all do have different properties. That is what class comes into the picture. We do have, like, we created account number balance, we created the function that is part of the class, but when we creating the object, that property will be defined. Let's proceed with the next item, which is an object. So an object is a runtime entity. Now what do you mean by runtime entity? Runtime entity state that object will be created when the program will get executed. So the state of the program is that it will get compiled, it will get linked. So at the time of runtime, when the program is getting executed, then this object will get created. Objects can be treated as variable of class type. Now what do you mean by variable of class type? For example, if I create a variable integer x, it means that x is of type integer. If I create a variable called as float y, it means that float is of type, y is of type float. In the same way, when I create an object like bank b1, it means that b1 is of type bank, where bank is a user defined type which is called a class. Same way, I created bank b2, it means that it is treated as a variable of class type, because bank is a user defined type which is a class, so b2 is type of bank type. So this is the structure of class. So just created a bank class. In that bank class, in private section we do have account number, float as balance. In the public section we do have some function called as deposit and withdraw. Now the thing is, we just have seen that class is just a skeleton of a program. Now who will be just providing soul to that program? That is just part of object, because we just created an object known as bank b1. So as soon as b1 got created, these things will get created. So the data members will get created into the memory. So this concept is called as memory management. So for an object, how memory management works into the picture behind the hook. So behind the hook, we divided the class into two parts, which is data members and member function. But always keep in mind that these member function will only create once in a memory. For example, this class will get executed. If there is no compilation error, then this object will get created. But this public section, whatever the function, only the data functions which are there, it will only created once in a memory. It will not recreate it again and again. But these data member, regardless of the access specifier, whether are created in private or public, this will get created with each object. For example, with object type b1, again this type of account number and balance will get created. How it looks like? It takes, let's take example of this. So this is my account number, then the value. This is my balance, then the value. And this whole will point to my b1. So when this b2 will create into the memory, again a variable called as account number and a variable called as balance will be created, and this whole block will be pointed via b2. So the basic point of understanding says that only the data numbers create into the memory again and again as soon as you created n number of objects, but these member function will always create once in a memory. So for this video, what we have seen what is a class and we have seen what is an object. In the next video, we'll be consider all the other aspects of the OOPS principles. Hope you like this video, and if you found this video as needful, knowledgeful, please do like this video and hit the subscribe button. Thanks for watching.